my first women's event was in Illinois, and I had never met a female TD really before that I had played in her event, and it was an experience, and she did such a fabulous job that it inspired me. I came home and I ran my own women's tournament.
Aloha all, and welcome to the Empowered Podcast, Why Disc Golf. Today we have Catalyst Sierra with us, who is also a member of the Women's PDGA Committee, to discuss with us why she continues to play disc golf and how to go about hosting your first women's global event, which I know we're all looking forward to. So let's get right into it. Welcome, Sierra.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
First, starting with, why do you play disc golf? What keeps you coming back to the sport?
So I think the main thing that keeps me coming back is the community. And it's pretty funny because when I first started disc golf, we were on vacation, me and my boyfriend, hiking, enjoying life. And then we just saw a couple baskets and I had no idea. I really was like, I don't know what that is. It looks weird. I don't know. Like, what do you do with that? And next thing I know, we're at Walmart buying some like DX Classic, Frisbees, and we're playing disc golf on vacation. And it was so much fun, exercise, to just throw it. I've never played Ultimate or anything like that. So it was brand new. And when we got back to Atlanta, I realized that disc golf is really big. It's like really big, and it's all over. There's tons of courses. There's tons of people that play, kids, master, everybody, all ages, genders, races, religions, it's for everybody, and so I think the community honestly is what keeps me coming back every single day. I have never seen community like this before in my life. And I've met some of my best friends playing disc golf. Like one of my best friends, Alyssa, she's in Illinois, and she is definitely one of my besties, and I would never have met her without disc golf. So it's cool. The community is definitely top notch.
I could not agree more. Even myself sometimes feeling isolated from the disc golf world, being on the Big Island, I still have just so many friends that I've met through previous tournaments or, through social media that we've been able to build this connection.
Yeah.
Well, then let's talk about Women's Global Event, because this is almost all about growing our women's disc golf community. Yeah. So let's first discuss, what is the Women's Global Event?
Okay, so the Women's Global Event, in a nutshell, is where women globally compete against each other on 2 days. So it can either be both days or just one of the days, but this year it is May 8th to May 9th. And so you can do a 1-day event, like I said, or a 2-day, but everybody is competing against each other. It doesn't matter if you're across the ocean or you're in the United States, like everybody, you get a global score and you are competing against women across the world. So it's pretty incredible, and it only happens every 2 years. So it's kind of a special thing. It was canceled last year due to COVID, so they pushed it to this year. And the first one was in 2012. So it really wasn't that long ago that we had our first Women's Global event. And that first year, there was only about 600 women that competed. And we're looking to have 3,000 this year. So yes, we're seeing major growth. It's very exciting. And it's definitely an event that brings a lot of women into the sport. A lot of women that I know, their first event was Women's Global in 2018. So they played that event and now they're leaders in the community. They bring more women in and they're doing their businesses and leagues and tournaments and all the things. So it's a special weekend for sure. Because it's all about the ladies that weekend, it's like, it's all about us. Let's go.
So true. I can still remember the first Women's Global event I attended. It was the first women's only tournament I had ever played. And oh my goodness, the difference, the energy that you could feel in comparison to just a normal tournament, which I had already played a couple of, it just felt so much more welcoming and exciting and competitive. And there was just this vibe of I don't know, just rivalry, but friendliness and welcoming. And it just made you want to compete. You got excited and motivated to improve your scores and actually go out and practice and get involved and start trying out those women's leagues or, etc. So I agree. It's definitely something that just hits home for women, I feel. So if you have the opportunity, either host one or attend one. I think we can say that it'll change your disc golf career a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So moving on from that, let's get into how can we go about hosting a women's global event?
So the first thing that you need to make sure of is that you're a PDGA member. Okay, so that's probably the first step. And then the next step is getting your rules certification. So it's just an exam online. You can look it up on PDGA, and it's $10. And once you take that, you are a rules official, which means that you can host a tournament. So those are the first two steps, and anybody can do that. Anybody can join the PDGA, and anybody can do the rules exam. And then the next step that we usually take is getting in touch with our state coordinator. And this person is head of the state, obviously, for PDGA, and they hold a calendar of events. And so it's really important to create a connection with this person, because they can tell you what date is open, what date's not open. And that's key. You definitely do not want to start booking the course or anything else before you have the approval from them. So once you have that, you can go get your event sanctions, and you do that on PDGA. It's a $50 fee, and it's pretty simple. They just ask you, where the course is, what the event is called, who's going to be the TD, the assistant TD. Pretty easy stuff. It walks you through all of it. And yeah, so honestly, anybody can do this. As a woman, you can do it. As a man, you can do it. There's plenty of men out there hosting women's global events as well. So shout out to them. We love those guys. So yeah, it's not a crazy hard thing. And you do not, I'll put it this way. I have never participated in a women's global event, and I'm hosting a women's global event this year. So there's no criteria that says that you have to have this many tournaments under your belt, or you have to have played a WGE before. You can just hop in there and do it. So that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, a really good point, which was actually my next question. Can anyone host a women's global event?
Yes.
For example, I've had, even in my own state here, debating, I'm not sure if there's enough women who would come put on the event, who would come compete in the event. So I started reading about, what if I'm the only woman who ends up showing up? Would I still be able to host a women's global event? And it looks like, as long as I have 3 propagators, that would be possible. Can you explain what a propagator is?
Yes, I can try. So as long as you have 8 rounds rated 700 or more, you are a propagator for the event. And to have a women's global event, you just need 3 propagators. And we did read that they don't all have to be a woman. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. It could be male or female, I believe.
Okay. So as long as you have 3 propagators, you can have a women's global event. It doesn't have to be hundreds of women. And a lot of just regular events are holding women's global events within their tournaments. And really the only requirement to do that is to just offer all 23 divisions. And then from there, you're set,
Yeah, and that's pretty exciting, because it could mean that even one woman could host a women's global event, have 3 propagators come, male or female, and she would be able to essentially be counted as a competitor in a women's global event, which really opens the door for almost anyone to be able to do this, as long as you have those propagators.
Yeah, I think that's huge, because, as women, we still are under 10% of the sport. I mean, not barely even 8%. Okay. So, you know, although our women's club here in Atlanta is seeing huge growth and we are pretty big, I know that there's a lot of areas out there that don't have women's clubs yet. Okay. There are women, but there's not like a governing body, right? That's like, all right, we're going to have a women's club. We're going to meet, we're going to do a league. So there's kind of like just single women all over the place, right? So I think that that's really incredible that they can still participate in this event. That's huge.
I agree. And it actually brings us to my next question, because I've been being reached out to by women on social media through Empowered Disc Golf, kind of with more of a feeling of insecurity about how grand their event is going to be or should be. And I think that goes along with the point of, it could just be you. It could be as simple as you're able to make it to as big as you're able to make it. I don't believe players packs are even required, correct?
No. So I believe for a C tier event, you have to give back. It's like 85% of the entry fee. So that doesn't mean that you have to have a player's pack. You can do that several different ways. You can do that through trophies at the end. So if you want to just skip the players packs altogether and just do trophies, those count towards that. Also payout, you know, if you wanted to skip trophies and maybe just do payout, you know, there's several different online retailers that easily handle that for you. So that's an option. But all of those requirements for the different tier tournaments are on PDGA. So it'll tell you exactly what's required, you know, as far as entry fees, payouts, and all of that good stuff. So it does vary between each tier tournament, but I mean, it's very doable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really important just for women out there considering to put on one of these tournaments to kind of relieve themselves of the stress of it needing to be something big or have a lot of prizes, CTP prizes, awards. You know, the real point of the Women's Global event is to get women interested in playing and having fun. So it's more about that kind of community aspect and giving that opportunity to potentially even compete for the first time, rather than all the side accessories that might come along with that.
Yes, and even here in Atlanta, we are keeping this event very simple because, like you said, it's about bringing women together to play disc golf. Like, this is the event that happens every 2 years that women from all over the world get the opportunity to play against each other. And so I think that we are trying to focus on that, you know, and the other stuff is awesome and cool, and it's great when you can do it, but I don't think that that's the main point of the Women's Global event, you know. And also the PDGA has their own players packs for the Women's Global event, which is very cool, and it makes things very easy on tournament directors, especially if you're a new tournament director. And those are on the PDGA store website, and they have a tiered system to where if you order a certain amount, the price per pack goes down. So, I mean, we did those separately from our registration. We kept our registration fee very low so that anybody could sign up. And then we kind of did a side thing where, hey, if you want a Women's Global event players pack, send me your email, we'll add you to the bulk order. And I think we just placed the order. We had about 40 women out of the 76 that we have that did want a players pack. The other women had the option to just come and play. Not even, they didn't worry about it, you know? So I think that's a great option for if you're a new tournament director, you don't have to worry about securing a players pack. You can just go directly to the PDGA store and order them. And I think on April 1st, they're going to open it up to individual orders as well. So if your people just want to get one or two, they can totally do that, and they can completely bypass you. They can just go on PDGA store and order it for themselves. So there's plenty of options for that.
Yeah, awesome. It sounds like you guys have made it as flexible as possible in order to just get as many tournaments put on throughout the world, and then as many women getting encouraged to come out and maybe compete for the first time, or just make new friends, learn about the sport, see if they like competing, or even potentially a test run of hosting tournaments.
Yes, that's a great point. That's a really great point, because I think that it can feel a lot scarier until you see it, right? Until you meet the people that run events. Gosh, my first women's event was in Illinois, and I had never met a female TD really before that I had played in her event, and it was an experience, and she did such a fabulous job that it inspired me. I came home and I ran my own women's tournament. And so that's an amazing point. Yeah, I think that once you see it in real life, it just becomes a whole different thing. Doable, it's like, wow, this lady's doing it and I can do it too,
Yes, I firmly believe it. If you can see it, you believe it, and you can do it. So
Yes.
Examples are excellent for that. And this tournament just all around provides those opportunities for women to get into it, try hosting a tournament, work on the marketing, and in a really welcoming environment, because there are so many resources out there for you to be able to put on this event. For example, a couple that can be found on the PDGA website, correct?
Yes, definitely. So the PDGA Women's Committee is on the PDGA website. All of us are listed on there, and every single one of us would be happy to hear from anybody that wants to host an event, whether it's hopping on a Zoom call and kind of explaining the process of it, or just talking about the jitters and why you're nervous about hosting your first event. Whatever it is, we've all been there and we all felt what you're feeling, I think is really important to talk about. We've all been in that position, and we'd love to help anybody. And I think also reaching out to, if you go on Disc Golf Scene, you can see all of the women's global events that are taking place. So you just type in WGE, and all of the women's events will show up for the women's global. And on Disc Golf Scene, it'll show you the tournament director and the assistant tournament director. Reach out to them. Reach out to anybody who's hosting one of these events, and I guarantee that they would be willing to help you, for sure. We're all in this together. It's pretty awesome.
That's a great point. I hadn't even thought about that, but networking really is key. And there are several resources out there available for you. So we'll be listing a couple of them down below in the description, including the PDGA. They have a frequently asked questions section that's really helpful for both players and tournament directors, as well as the PDGA committee members, so that you can contact them if you need to. And I imagine the state coordinator would also be a good resource for that as well.
Yes, they are listed on the PDGA website as well. I bet we can link that too. Yeah, that would be super helpful for everyone to see.
All right, women, well, there you have it. If you are interested, please be sure to reach out to the PDGA committee, browse their website, and don't be afraid to reach out. There are so many women out there so excited to help you to really grow the sport and do their part, as well as you doing yours, either by hosting or even just participating in an event. Sierra, where can we find you on social media to follow your disc golf adventures?
So I am on Instagram at TheDiscGolfGal, and that's where I do a lot of posting and a lot of networking and interacting and all that good stuff. So I'm on there quite a bit, and you guys can find me on Facebook also. I'm very active on my Facebook. I probably use Facebook more than my actual cell phone. So it's just my name, Sierra Buford, on Facebook. And then lastly, I do have a YouTube channel. Hopefully we can get it up and running again. I would love that. So if you guys want to follow me there, it's also the Disc Golf Gal.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And those will also be listed below in the description for you guys to go follow Sierra's Disc Golf Adventures. She definitely puts up some good content and it's a lot of fun, so I encourage you to go follow her. Any last minute comments, Sierra, before we end the call?
I would just like to say that I am here for anybody who has any questions or concerns, or it doesn't matter if you're in Alaska or Spain. I don't care where you're at. You can message me at any time of the day or night, and I will get back to you. We can chat, and yeah, I'm here for you. So reach out if you need me.
Yes, and to growing women's disc golf, we can do it as long as we work together. Remember to be a catalyst for change.